Hey girls, welcome back to another episode of Pretty Girl Rich Era. Let's talk about something that genuinely changed my life, and I honestly think it might save yours too. We talk a lot about healing and leveling up and just becoming that woman, but we really don't talk about how hobbies and healthy obsessions play a role in that. And we do our hobbies and our obsessions, but we're not actively thinking about it as a hobby and an obsession. Like someone who's into makeup, that's a healthy obsession. Once upon a time, I didn't have a life. I didn't have any passions. Well, I did have a passion, which was my business. I was a new business owner, but that business wasn't making money. I didn't know what I was doing. I literally would do the same thing every single day. And although it takes consistency to grow, I just was it wasn't gonna work. Now that I'm looking back at it, I was literally just doing the same thing every single day for no reason. Well, I guess for the experience, but that's just about it. So, anyways, I had no passions, no interests besides that business, and I had no hobbies. That's the thing, the hobbies. You've got to have hobbies. And that lack costed me my confidence. I'm telling you, like, I didn't even want to go anywhere because, for one, I was sitting at home every day. So my body was not in shape anymore. It costed me my mental health now that I look back at it. That was not healthy. It was not healthy at all. And I have so much compassion for that younger version of me because she was literally just trying to navigate and didn't know anything. And I didn't want to just ask other people because people talk about you. And I wouldn't say I was afraid of that. I just didn't have time for it. It also costed me my standards. Girls, oh my gosh, not having hobbies and healthy obsessions costed me my standards because I would have been cut off a lot of stuff if I would have been out there, living life and seeing things for what it really was. Also, it costed me a lot of my 20s. I want to say it costed me, I want to say it costed me all of my 20s because I'm now 30 and I'm cleaning up, you know, all of that. But I realized in my late 20s, like when I was like 28, that's when I really, really realized. And 29, I was on it. But it did cost me a lot. It costed me my confidence, my body, my mental health, my standards, and a lot of my 20s and my teens. Okay? So today we're talking about how creating a full life can change your mental, and it could just make you glow, and it changes your self-esteem and, yes, your desirability. First off, obsessions and your hobbies can literally change and save your life. I truly believe that hobbies and healthy obsessions save lives. And to be clear, this is not medical advice, okay? I am not a medical professional. And if you're experiencing depression that feels heavy, persistent, or just overwhelming, please go and seek professional help. This video is about mild cases, something that I've went through before and didn't know that's what I was going through. And it's about just being emotionally stagnant and feeling stuck, not clinical diagnosis, okay? So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. If you are feeling any type of depression that you feel like you can't handle, please seek professional help. But back to the video. When your life is empty, your mind fills it with chaos. Like it's naturally going to happen. Like your mind has to make up for not being, what word am I looking for? Not intrigued, but it's not activated either. It's a word that I'm looking for. But anyways, let's go ahead on. When you're sitting idle, that time is going to turn into you overthinking. And like I said, I was overthinking as well because I didn't want to help people. I didn't want to ask people for help or, talk about it because they could use that against you and da 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 this and that. But when I look back at it, I just didn't want to deal with people because I don't know if I had went through something that just made me cut people off and realize how fake people are. And I was just like, no, that wasn't healthy either. But that idle time, it will turn into overthinking or rumination. And you got to be very careful with rumination because it will make you bitter and just a pissed off, angry person. It will also cause you to obsess over people. Maybe you have a boyfriend, you're obsessing over that boyfriend. Instead of having a full life, you're obsessing over this person. And that's when your standards drop because you allow them to do stuff that you wouldn't usually allow them to do. It also makes you start to scroll endlessly. Please do not ever do that. If you catch yourself doing that, stop it. You'll also feel behind and you'll feel purposeless. So hobbies can give your mind direction. They will give your mind direction. And your obsessions will give you energy to go in that direction. It gives you somewhere to go. A full life makes women glow differently. Women who live full lives, they radiate so much more than women who are just working and paying bills. Okay? So you could take dance classes just because you want to learn salsa. You may never use it, you may never be in a salsa competition or anything of that nature, but take dance classes just because. Learn how to cook new cuisines. Go and go to a cooking class taught by a native of that region or whatever you want to call it. A native Hispanic or a native Italian, someone who knows the recipes, who knows the hacks. Go to a cooking class taught by them. Go to Pilates, boxing, do some yoga, hiking. Now, I was going to get into hiking and I still am, but I was like, I don't know. I might have to start packing for that because I've been seeing, like these animals popping up on you out the woods and also creepy people, who I'm talking about. The bear versus the man. Creepy people in the woods. So, yeah, start doing some things. I really want to try Pilates. I feel like if you do Pilates and you stick to it, baby, you are gonna be that girl. Because Pilates, it seems like it gets you fit and you have no choice but to stay fit when you're doing Pilates. I also would suggest you to read and journal. Journaling, it's a hit or miss. It was a hit or miss with me, but I do it more often now. I feel like don't pressure yourself to journal because that's when you're not going to enjoy it. If you pick up your journal every 3 days and write something in there, that is perfect because eventually it's going to get to the point where, okay, you're journaling every 2 days. Now you're journaling every day. Or for those who pick up their journal like once or twice a month, it's going to increase. So you don't have to rush into being that journaling girl. It's going to happen for you. And if it doesn't, that's cool. Just journal about what you can. Some people have one journal for 3 years. Some people have one journal for 6 months. Some people need a new journal every month. So just do what works for you and don't try to put stipulations on it because that's when it's not fun anymore. It feels like a task, you know? Also, I would say get into painting and just creating. This video is my outlet. It's my creative way of, just breathing life into other women and young girls who haven't been in my position before. I know you have to go through life and make the mistakes yourself so you can learn, but every mistake you shouldn't learn through personal experience. You can look at some people and be like, okay, I don't want to make that mistake. And it's not necessary to make every mistake on your own. So please take these videos with some sense of, not urgency, but some sense of seriousness because it is serious. I also want you to just start projects. You don't have to finish them right then. Maybe you could start a project and you start a project in the summer, and by the time fall rolls around, you're not feeling it anymore. Pick it back up the next summer. Maybe summer is your time to do that project. So don't feel bad because you didn't finish it. Don't rush to finish it when your body is not in the mood for that in this season of life. You can also start some side hustles. Now, I am very particular about this when I say side hustles because we don't need to be hustling and bustling all the time, especially if we already have a full time job. Starting a side hustle, make sure it's really a side hustle and you either enjoy doing it and you get a some type of positive release from it versus really hustling and putting the pedal to the metal, you know, in your spare time. Also, try to get around communities of people that are like minded or people that aren't like minded, but you can grow from them. You can network with them. So we can dibble and dabble and explore a lot of different things to allow us to have a full life. And that exploration creates confidence in us. It furthers our curiosity and it allows us to be present in the moment. And you know what? You are definitely going to have a magnetic glow once you create a full life for yourself. Now, your healthy obsessions are going to build your self esteem. And when I say healthy obsessions, one thing I always think about is makeup. My makeup girlies, y'all are doing the dang thing. Okay. I wish I could do makeup. I'm more so of a hair girly, but I wish I could do makeup. I always hear the makeup girlies saying, if you could do your hair, then you are that girl. No, baby. If you could do that makeup, you're that girl, okay? So, healthy obsessions are things that make you better. They challenge you, they require consistency, and they reward discipline. I think of the makeup girls when I do that, when I hear that, because the makeup girlies doing makeup is it's a challenge anyway. And learning new techniques, getting everything to blend perfectly, that's a challenge. And it's going to require you to consistently try over and over. And that discipline of consistently doing your makeup, you get a reward from that. You become top dog, A1. You become the best at your own makeup at least. Even if you can't do everybody makeup, if you do your makeup good, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So when you keep promises to yourself, your self-esteem is going to skyrocket. You can test this out today. Right now while you're listening to this video, if it's morning time or nighttime, whatever. You can write a list and say, I'm going to do this, and this tomorrow. Check everything off that list and watch how your self-esteem is going to be through the roof. You're going to feel like you can do anything. So it makes you that consistency. When you keep those promises, it makes you start to think like, I do what I say I'm going to do. When I commit to something, I know I'm going to do it. I can grow. And that spills into every other area of your life. Okay, ladies, we're going to take a quick pause because I want to talk about something. I want to talk about my 30-day glow up journal planner. It's for the people who are creating structure and discipline for a fuller life. This is exactly for you. It'll help you to stay consistent and just get on track to tracking your habits. It'll also help you build your routines and reconnect with yourself. And we all know that is something we need to do when we're creating a fuller life. We need to reconnect with ourselves. And it's going to help you actually follow through. I created it in the 30-day format because I don't want to start and overwhelm you with something like a 3 month or 6 month or even 12 month. 30 days to get you going, to get you in the habit of doing what you need to do. Now, if you're serious about evolving and glowing up and just becoming more intentional all around, check the link in the description. Now, let's get back into the video. Now, as I said, having hobbies and healthy obsessions, it creates a fuller life. But there is a downside of not having hobbies or passions. I want to be real about my own life for a moment. When I didn't have hobbies or passions, when I didn't have goals or healthy obsessions, I became a couch potato. And baby, just think about somebody looking like a sack of potatoes. I would say that's how I used to. Now that I'm looking back, I have compassion for that girl, but that's how I used to feel, and I didn't know why. I was literally in the house. I would be in the house for days at a time. I was overweight. I disconnected from my body. I want to say I disconnected from my mind. So I was really someone who didn't stick to her word. I never got anything done or completed anything. It was just a mess. And I don't want to say I was chasing a man instead of chasing my life, but I was more so the shadow. I was just behind. I want to say I was kind of like a homemaker for no reason. I was a stay-at-home girlfriend and wasn't even married. No ma'am. I did tolerate disrespect because I had nothing else going on. And I don't want to say I made him the center, but I didn't have a center. So I know for a fact that I wasn't at the center. And that put me behind in life. It put me behind in networking with people. It put me behind in experiences and growth and confidence and living that life in my 20s. And that's a hard truth to sit with. Now that I think about it, I'm glad I went through it, but I definitely wish I would have came up out of it very much sooner than I did. I literally gave my youthful 20s to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having a full life. And it's really not called for it. Have that full life. A full life raises your standards automatically. When you have things going on, you do not tolerate nonsense. You do not sit by the phone waiting for somebody, and you don't invest emotionally. You're not going to be begging for attention because your life is already rich. They're going to be begging for your attention. People can feel that energy, men feel that energy, and the world responds differently to women who are literally fulfilled. So I would say creating a full life is an act of self respect. Self respect. Do you hear me? Self respect. Hobbies are not extra. Your passions are not going to be optional. You need to take them seriously. Obsessions aren't too much. They're all acts of self respect, self preservation, and self worth to keep you alive and engaged and involving and evolving. They say when people retire, there's only a set amount of years that they're expected to live after that. You know why? Because they've stopped evolving. You need to keep evolving. Keep your self respect, keep learning, keep growing. And again, this video is not medical advice for those depressed, but when I look back on it, I was really in a like depressed state. I just didn't know it. I am not a medical professional. If you are experiencing depression that feels heavy or persistent or dangerous, please go and seek professional help or talk to someone you trust. This is about building supportive habits, not replacing medical care. Now, I will say if I had these supportive habits, I probably wouldn't have been in that state, or at least I wouldn't have been in that state for so long. If this video resonated with you, let it be your sign to choose a fuller life. Not tomorrow or next month, now. Literally now. Decide that you're going to choose that fuller life now. You need to find something to love. Even if you have kids, find something outside of your kids to love because eventually they're going to grow up and go on to find things that they love. But I do want to say this though, enjoy your kids while they're young. And in order to enjoy them, you need to let loose and have a fuller life outside of them. Enjoy them and soak up all this precious time with them while they're young. You also need to find something to commit to. You need to find something that brings you back to center, brings you back to yourself. Because a woman with a full life is very powerful. She is very radiant and she is untouchable. I believe that is why back in the days they wanted women to be at home with the kids because they knew if these women get out here and get down, oh baby, they really gonna have to chase. So I want you to like this video, comment what hobby or obsession you're starting, and I want you to subscribe for more glow up, healing, and level up conversations. This is Pretty Girl Rich Era evolving into womanhood where we heal, level up, and become the best version of ourselves. I'll see you in the next one.